Hello there, my beautiful Gemini signs. It's Rachael with Dark Knight Coaching. Today's video is it's a lot about walking away from something that's not serving you anymore. So when I meditate, before I get on camera, I do meditate with your tarot cards, and I pull them all, and I have it already here. It's a Celtic cross is what I pull. But what happens usually is I listen to music while I meditate, and when I listen to music, I kind of get into like a rhythmic funk thing, and I can just really get in the zone where I tap into my intuition and into your energy, Gemini, for whoever's watching this. Now, the song that I was listening to, that's the whole point in this conversation right now, is Working on Me by Russ and Six Lack. Now, if you've never heard that song, the lyrics might be beneficial for a lot of you, because at this time I do feel like a lot of you are doing some really deep introspection and some really deep shadow work, because the first card I pulled for you, Gemini, in regards to your situation is the Eight of Cups. This is walking away from things that are not serving you. Could be people, could be a job, could be family or friends even. For a lot of you, I do feel like this has to do with family. Something involving children in particular, because the Empress card came out later, which I'll go over that. But the current challenge affecting you, what's crossing you right now, is the world. This is a major pivotal shift for you that's happening, because you're really choosing to close out a cycle. The world is all about closing a cycle. It's a loop. We often find ourselves stuck in these karmic loops or these karmic cycles without even realizing that's what they are. And it's a way to clear our karma from past lives. It's a way to learn a lesson and to gain wisdom through our challenges, through the strife of being with someone or being in, a work situation, to try to learn a lesson from that. And that's what the human experience is all about. It's about going through different situations in our life to build our strength, our inner knowing, to follow our intuition, and to see if we're going to listen and trust ourselves, or if we're going to kind of be manipulated or gaslit or misled by someone else. So that's kind of the test of what's happening to you right now. But I do feel like with the World card here, Gemini, you're really closing out a cycle, and you're asking yourself right now, is the juice worth the squeeze? That's what this Seven of Pentacles card is. It's like, is this going to be worth all of my efforts to end this, to really move forward, to get out of this habit, to get out of this pattern, to leave this person? Is it really going to be worth it? And Spirit is saying, yeah. Oh yeah. Because not only is this like a complete closure to something major for you, this is like, it's been beaten like a dead horse, okay? Like, I shouldn't laugh, because I know this is probably a really tough time for you right now, Gemini, but like, it is over. Like, you have thrown every single straw at the camel's back that you ever had to give, and it's broken, okay? Like, I don't know why all of these euphemisms and metaphors and all these things have like so many like animal cruelty messages. I don't condone that, but in this case, I'm going to use all of these weird old... I don't know what it is. Is it a euphemism? If it's a euphemism, put them in the comments, because I don't know the difference between what it is. But like, the past here is this card, which is literally like, put in a fork in me, I'm done, because you can literally put no more swords in that person's back. So like, the betrayal has reached peak level here. This is the 10 of swords. There's 10 swords in this person's back. Like, there's no reviving this situation. There's no coming back from this. And that is your closure. It may not be the closure like you had in mind, but it's like the closure in knowing, like, that person, that situation, that family member, that friendship, they're not going to change. Because if they haven't changed already, it's probably not going to happen. And I find that the shell shock of someone departing from a toxic situation, a toxic cycle, like someone leaving that and leaving this person there to like play with all of their swords after you've ripped them out of your back, like that person is going to be like so shocked and awed by you, but not by your like unwillingness to repeat the pattern. Like, it's going to throw them for a real loop. And a lot of the times they don't grow from that experience when they've been left behind or they've felt abandoned. They revert into this like childish behavior. Now, there's a fine line, Gemini, between childlike and childish, and I strive to be childlike in the way where things bring me like curiosity and awe and wonder, like having that childlike mentality. That is healthy. Being childish, where you're not going to play with me, then I'm going to take my ball and I'm going to go home. That's what this person is. That's what you're leaving behind. That is going to be worth its weight in gold eventually. And gold isn't like literal gold. Like, I mean, maybe it is if you're a Saudi prince, good for you. But it's the gold of knowledge. It's the golden nugget of wisdom that you're going to gain, and self-respect that you kind of get back from leaving that cycle, from walking away from these things that aren't serving you or these people. And it's from closing out that narrative. Basically, you're closing the chapter. Now, the next card I have for you is all about the present. This is the master magician, but it's like the master alchemist. And that's why the gold here is very important, Gemini, because it's like you are kintsugi. If you don't know what that is, give it a Google. It's a Japanese tradition. I think it's Japanese. I don't know. Don't come for me. Like, this is off the top of my head. Pretty sure it's Japanese. Could be Chinese. Sorry. But it's the art where they take pottery, they smash it into a million pieces, basically, and then they take the tedious time, so much time, to put it back together, and then they interweave gold into the cracks. And that's not only makes it more unique and beautiful and rare, it gives it the strength that it didn't have before to withstand all of the rest of the punches that life throws our way. And that's what you're doing right here with the magician. You're basically, Beyonce said it with lemonade. You're taking lemons and you're turning it into lemonade. And that's the magic. It's not necessarily, it's not easy at all. I won't say it's necessarily anything. It's not easy. It's not. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You could put sugar in your lemonade. That'll probably make it a little bit better, but it's still bitter. It's bittersweet. And that's what this is. And it's like you're alchemizing and transmuting the pain to move forward. Now, you are moving forward. That was the present. And then your near future is the Three of Pentacles. This is about working together with someone. It may have to be, I am just getting like co-parenting vibes. I know that sounds very strange. Maybe that's irrelevant to some of you, but this is like, maybe there's a third party situation. Somebody cheated on you and you were done, and now you have to kind of co-parent or work out a schedule with those people. And it's just like it's not a great feeling. But this could also, if this isn't involving like that sort of energy for you and your situation, if that's not resonating, I do feel like this is like working together with a community in order to help other people through something like this, something similar, some sort of situation where they were betrayed and abandoned and kind of left behind. So I do feel like you are moving forward there. Now, if this message is resonating, please smash the like button and subscribe, because it helps my channel grow, and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you're interested in a one-on-one coaching session, I do that as well. Feel free to reach out or DM me. Now, your next card I have is the perception of your situation. Maybe you feel like you're being like cold and callous and like very direct at this time, but I do feel like you're setting healthy boundaries for yourself, Gemini, because like you've been given no other choice than to like be this like truth. I wanted to say delver. This truth deliverer, basically. It's like the Queen of Swords is a very she's a kind of a cold queen, but she has to be, because she's also very just. So it's like she has her hand out here, like, you can offer me things, sure, but I'm gonna slice through the bologna like it's butter, because she just knows. She just knows. There's a very active intuition here happening. Now, the next card I have, this is the effect of like the people that are around you with this walking away that you're doing. Like, how is it going to affect them? And I feel like for a lot of you, especially if you're a mother or if you have dependents or things like that, you're like, how is this going to impact everyone? You know, what are people going to think? What's going to happen? And you are breaking the chains here, Gemini. This is a major revelation. This is enlightenment. This is seeing things clearly without rose-colored glasses. This is knowing that in the future, this choice that you've made to walk away from something that's not serving you is healing. That's what the Star card is about. This is major Aquarius energy, and this is not only healing to you, but it's healing to your ancestral line, your family, your future, their future, if you have children or things like that. You're breaking free from an old mindset, from this old karmic cycle. You're getting closure by doing this healing, by doing this introspection, by alchemizing the pain and transmuting it into something positive for you and positive for others, because it's like you had that community card here, the 3 of Pentacles, and this is going to help many people, not just yourself. And maybe you're having a hard time seeing that, Gemini, in the short term, but in the long term, this is very, very impactful. The Star card is all about healing. This is about like wishes granted. This is about not perpetuating cycles. And that's very significant at this time, because it's like you've learned the lesson for many. And I do feel like that's going to very much so pay off for you. So the next card I have is your hopes and fears card, which is the Empress. I feel like for some of you, you might have this fear of like, I'm going to be alone forever with a cat or something like that. Or like, I don't know, this lady's like wearing a muumuu. Maybe you feel like you're going to be an introvert stuck inside forever, just like reading your books and dealing with your plants and not wanting to be in a situation like that again. I don't think that's true. I don't think that that's going to happen forever. I do feel like this is a fated and divinely guided event that's taking place in your life because of some karma you had to kind of go through. I say that because we are in a Saturn retrograde, so karma is being distributed so harshly right now. It is like brutal for like all of the signs. So like if you feel like your ass is getting handed to you, Gemini, like you're not alone, okay? This is just it's a really rough period, and over the next couple months it's going to be quite a roller coaster. A lot of stuff happening in September, because there's a lot of astrologically there's a lot of stuff happening. I don't know enough at the top of my head, but I know there's like a couple major shifts happening because of the astrology in September. So make sure you give that a Google. But this Empress energy is your fear of maybe like not having your wishes come true, or maybe not having the family that you wanted. And it may not be the way you wanted it, but it's going to be the way it needs to be in order for this healing to really happen, so that the pain is not perpetuated, the cycles are not perpetuated, the trauma is not perpetuated. And that is the ultimate Empress energy. That is the ultimate feminine energy, when you can step up and be a boss babe, and you can really do the healing for yourself, and it also heals your family. This is like supreme goddess energy. Like that, like, doesn't get any better than this, even though it feels like very painful. Now, your outcome is the Judgment card. This is all about karma. This is about connection with spirit as well. This is being divinely guided and having that like tapped in intuition with your higher self, and knowing that this is the end of a cycle, knowing you had to walk away, knowing there was really no other choice, because like, you closed out some soul contract here. You've closed out something that was negative, that wasn't serving you, and that was never going to serve you, because that other person was not willing to see things from a different perspective, or not willing to change a mindset or a value system or a belief system that they have ingrained in them. And that's not a reflection of you, That's a very, it's a reflection of them and their willingness to grow. And some people aren't willing to grow, no matter how much like you water the soil or how much, nutrients you pour into it. Sometimes they just don't. And again, that's that's going to be their judgment, and that's going to be their karma, because it's all about intention. That's kind of how I like to think of karma. Like, do you have good intentions? Do you have pure intentions? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I'll give this away and I'll buy this and I'll donate this stuff so that I get good karma points. It's not really how it works. You don't really get like chits for your goodwill when it's impure intentions. So Spirit is really asking you to make sure here, like, your heart is lighter than a feather. Now, I'm not saying that you won't have any mistakes, Gemini, because we're all human. Everyone is imperfect in ways, because we're all here to learn lessons, and whether we want to or not, we do distribute pain to other people or trauma, whether it's intentional or not. It's just part of our human journey. So yeah, lots of stuff there for you, Gemini. If this reading has resonated, please smash the like button. It helps my channel to grow, and I greatly appreciate it. I am going to go ahead and dive into the oracle cards. If you're not interested in the oracle cards, then this is your time where you can like boop out of here. But thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in the oracle cards, I pull about 10 oracle cards to kind of see what energy pops up for you and what's resonating for the Gemini signs. I kind of just go with whatever the energy flows. So this first card is from my Moon Oracle deck. It says New Moon in Taurus. Prosperity lies ahead. So some of you Geminis might be dealing with Taurus, or you might have a lot of Taurus in your chart. Now, this choice that you're making to walk away from something or someone that's no longer serving you is going to lead to prosperity in your future, because you've really chosen to follow your highest self, your highest timeline. And sometimes that means not sacrificing yourself for someone else. Like, a lot of the times in traumatic family situations, sorry, the archetype card I pulled here is very relevant to this reading. A lot of the times in family situations, we find ourselves, especially if you're empathic, which you probably are because you're watching this video, because narcissists don't typically want to work on themselves or have a sense of wanting to self-reflect at any point in their life. Childhood traumas play a huge role for empathic people, because a lot of the time we get into this people pleaser mode and we don't realize that we're sacrificing parts of ourselves when we're being stomped on. Because a lot of the times, at least in my situation, when I grew up, I had this very much so this crab mentality, which is basically you have crabs in a bucket and they try to drag each other down to stay in the bucket, even though if they wanted to, they could work together and get out. But typically it's like this hierarchical, I don't know how to say that. It's this king and queen mentality of, you think you're better than me? No way, I'm going to keep you down. And I don't care if it keeps me down too, but you're not getting ahead of anybody else. So a lot of the times in childhood traumas, we might find ourselves trapped in that sort of narrative, and we attract spouses or partners or friendships or even jobs that are with bosses that are very much so like that, whether we realize it or not. But it's subconscious, and it's an attempt to get us to heal and learn the lesson. And sometimes you have to go through that lesson many, many times before you actually learn it. So the card I pulled for the archetypes deck was the Destroyer. I think this is very interesting, because as you're walking away from this situation here, Gemini, you are destroying a foundation that was a cycle, and that can feel very intimidating. It can feel very wrong, and that's not I don't want to say it's not a right feeling, but it's a feeling based on fear, where it's like you maybe feel like you're going to be perceived as the bad person because you decided to leave. And guess what? If someone decides to make you the villain in their story, who cares? What's the worst? Like, what more damage can they do? Who cares if they go tell everybody something that's false about you? You know the truth. Your heart knows the truth. Your soul knows the truth, Gemini. And if someone's going to spread vicious rumors and lies about you, or, you know, make it appear like you were the bad person in the story, okay, so what? Even if they do, what does it matter? Because as long as you are pure to your heart and your soul, I don't feel like it's really going to affect you. It might affect you emotionally just because that's not how you function, but I don't think it is going to affect you on a fundamental level. It might not be a great thing to hear, but it also confirms and validates your decision to leave, because that person is trying to present you as the villain. And maybe you are the villain in their story, but typically if someone's really trying to self-reflect and they're trying to be this alchemizer and this magician, they are not going to waste their time blaming or shaming or fearing someone else into complacency or compliancy. So keep that in mind as well. Now, this is a card I've never pulled before. This is from my I Ching deck. This one is called The Well. Right when I saw this, I thought of there's a Casey Musgraves song. I think it's maybe her whole album might be called The Well or something like that, but it came out, I don't know why, it just came to my mind. So make sure you check out that song or that album, because I do feel like some of those songs might be relevant for you at this time. Now this says, the well or the source is independent. You cannot lose it, nor can you grasp onto it. People and experiences come and go, time passes, and the well is always the well. Never doubt that you have these resources or that they are enough. The potential in the situation is undeniable, but it may still be a long way from realization. What is the ever-present resource you draw from, and what can you do to realize its potential here? Again, I feel like that might be this Three of Pentacles card. You might have to work together with someone to really help these things progress and move forward and get out of this situation. You might have to rely on family or something like that in order to help you get a leg up on whatever this progression is that's happening for you. But always remember, like, you are the well, you have a full cup, and in order to pour into anyone else's cup, you have to fill yours first. And this is love. You know, the cup is water, the cup is filled with water, which is emotion, and we have an endless well of emotion inside of us. But it also has to be coming from a place of self-love and self-worth, and I do feel like that's where you're really leaning into right now, Gemini, because leaving something that's not serving you, leaving a situation that's not in your highest, best interest is self-love. Even if it feels wrong or if it feels chaotic, it is totally a decision made from loving yourself. Now, the next card I have is from my Moon Oracle deck. I just noticed this one is the only card that has words on the back. It says Love by the Moon. So the moon, the lunar cycles might be significant. It says, I am safe to be my authentic and true self. And maybe you've not felt that way for a very long time. Maybe you felt like you've had to hold yourself back, or maybe you felt like you were too much for someone. And that's a giant red flag, because anybody who makes you feel like you're too much, it's not the right person for you. The next card I have is the Owl card. It says, pay attention to the winds of change. So again, I just feel like there's a lot of shifts happening totally for the collective, but specifically for you, Gemini. And prosperity is definitely lying ahead for you. So there are a lot of perks to closing out a cycle, because you're going to move forward into a new chapter. The next card I have is from my Third Eye Intuition deck. This one is called Harness. It says, think about what you want. Ask yourself, what do I really want? And allow the answers to float forward rather than the usual story you tell yourself. Look out for sudden insights. I highly recommend journaling and gratitude journals and those sorts of things. Just because I'm a writer, and that's kind of how I like to express myself. But I do feel like that will be helpful for you at this time. I just forgot. The bottom of the tarot deck is like the subconscious energy, and I don't know why it was like my guides are telling me to look at it. But this is the Seven of Wands here. So what are your belief systems? What are your value systems? What makes you really like tick and what grinds your gears. That's kind of what Spirit really wants you to focus on, Gemini, because that's going to lead you into this new trajectory here of thinking about what it is you want. What it is you want in a spouse, what it is you want in a friendship, what are the 5 most important things you value in a person. And that's going to lead you to this place of abundance. Wow. And I have 2 cards here for you, Gemini. This is from my chakra deck. The first one is the soulmate card, and the second one is the abundance card. Now, the soulmate card is symbolized by your root chakra, which is the base chakra. That's all about your foundation. And then the yellow card is your solar plexus chakra, which is kind of like your empathetic and narcissistic tendencies. That's kind of how I like to think of that. But this is all about abundance within and gratitude, because when you have this state of abundance here in your solar plexus and you're really vibing with yourself and you're really being like true to yourself and you're really knowing what it is that makes you tick and makes you feel joy and peace, that's what's going to draw in a soulmate for you, like a good soulmate, not a karmic one, but one that's going to help elevate you and lift you up, because you're doing that shadow work, you're doing the alchemizing, you're doing that healing, and it's really going to draw someone in that's going to align with your life's path. And it's going to be somebody who's going to really value your feminine aspects and really want you to lean into this feminine energy. And if you're a guy watching this video, like, that's a message that still resonates with you, because energy is fluid. Spirit's funny today. I have the gratitude card. This is from my Power of Love deck. This is vital. Gratitude is vital at this time. And you're like, if you're in this mode where you're like, oh, I don't have any gratitude, there's nothing I'm grateful for today. Be grateful for the lemons. I know that's sour. That puts a sour taste in your mouth. But be grateful for the lemons, because some people don't even have lemons, or they have lemons, but they can't even see the lemons. You know what I'm saying? So if, like, when I get into these ruts, which happens often, especially on a spiritual journey, everybody thinks it's like butterflies and rainbows. It's totally not. Never has been. When I get into the ruts, I try to lean into an attitude of gratitude, because gratitude cannot coexist with hate or fear or anxiety, because you're in the state of like, okay, I'm grateful for the breath in my lungs. Okay, I'm grateful I can walk on these 2 feet. I'm grateful I get to have a cup of coffee in the morning. Like, some people don't get that. So just try to switch yourself. And this card says you fully appreciate the invaluable lessons that life lovingly presents to you. And be grateful that you have closure, that you're walking away, and that you learned this lesson, because I feel like whoever you're leaving or whoever you're moving on from or whatever this is, I do feel like they're giving you they may not be giving you closure in the way you want, but they're giving you many validations that you made the right choice by how they're behaving and by how they're acting about you wanting to move forward. And that's what the 10 of Swords is. It's like you're getting even more validation because you're leaving to walk away, and this person is like trying to throw anything they have at you. Oh goodness. Okay. Wow. Gemini, you have 2 really great cards here. I usually don't take 2 cards, but when I saw this, I had to take it because it's very significant for you. This is a congratulations card. That's what the happy is. It could be significant of someone's birthday, but typically when I see balloons or anything that's like birthday related, it's like a happy card of celebratory. You learned the lesson and you're not going to do that again. Like, you're not going to burn your hand on the stove again. And that is number 26. And this one is number 14. This is Truth Be Told. I like to think of this card. Oh, there's an owl. Oh, I just realized that. 2 owls. So very synchronistic. When I see this card, Truth Be Told, it's like, I'm not religious, but I know a lot about theology, and I have gone to church for many, many years. This is like when God closes a door, he opens a window to me. And if you're like, oh, religion, I don't dive into that. Okay, well, that's fine. But also know that tarot is very religious. So if you were like, what? You didn't know that? I have a video about tarot and why it's religious. So make sure you go check that out, because it's actually a very religious thing, even though a lot of religious people are very afraid of tarot. But to me, this is when God closes a door, he opens a window. And truth be told, it's also like people will see the faucets of someone who's wearing a mask at some point, because the mask will always fall off. So if you're not being true and authentic to yourself, or this person who's trying to throw shade or poop on your name, they will be revealed at some point. So if you're worried about that or something along those lines, Spirit is really saying, like, don't worry about it. Like, we got you, because the truth is the highest vibration. The truth will set you free, and the truth is on your side here. So everything is in alignment, Gemini. Again, I hope this video helped. If it did, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps my channel grow. If you're interested in a one-on-one coaching session, please feel free to reach out to me. If you're interested in a tarot and oracle reading, I can do that for your specific energy as well. But again, thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I will see you next time.